Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome everybody to another Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. So happy to be with you today. So grateful to speak about joyful manifestation in business. It's time to let the doldrums be released and to experience the joy that's eternal within you. Allow yourself to really rocket in your business with that fullness that's within you. That fullness that is the signature of joy that signifies that we're living more deeply in accordance to what is really appropriate for us on our path. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to share some practical wisdom with you today and some keys that you can practically use to increase your results joyfully in your business. So we're going to get right into that in a moment. Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate, Make Money meditation today. Okay, so the key is really to make a commitment to live your truth, which is something I just talked about recently, right? So if you haven't seen the video, I really enjoyed sharing that with you because that's really foundational. You need to live in your truth. If you're living in accordance with your truth from the sense of your full connection with your infinite self that always knows exactly what wants to happen in your life. Well, it's never confused, it's never confounded. It always knows everything. And the more that we can allow ourselves to come from that space, all our answers come to us. In fact, we already know the answers now. One of the things I've gotten a little, tired of is around the idea of we don't know, so we need all these incredible tools to figure out what our truth is. We might need, again, I'm not making them wrong, that they're not helpful, that they can't be helpful, but we're going to need muscle testing. We're going to need a way to make sure in our body, or where do we get our signals? We need signs, and we need power cards and tarot decks and all this stuff. Really, ultimately, we don't really have to have any of that. Okay, so what we really need is to connect with that place that already knows that it just really is ultimately a knowing. Sometimes this gets confused because there are all these different ways of knowing things. There's the visual sense of things. There's the idea of our feelings, since we have feelings and feeling intuition, all these things, and they're true, but I really believe that just unconditionally we just know, despite whatever everyone else is saying. Okay, and I even utilize some of these things, but like human design or this or that or other thing, and I've always said this historically, and then for a while I've talked about other things, like, because I wanted to just, what I do is I experiment with what I sense and know to be my truth, to make sure that my truth really is my truth, right? So that's what I've done over the years. And so I kind of scaled back just being in this infinite connection and knowing what I know. So much so I've had clients tell me that, that were with me for years, says, oh, he's like the guy in that movie Next, only more so, to that degree. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but I mean, I don't know if I'd say that about myself, but I can see where they're coming from, because when I'm in that connection, when I maintain that connection, it probably is that profound or more so. So, because it just knows. Again, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, there's people that have that instant knowing, but other people, they have to talk it out, or what. have, they have to consult or whatever. So, but I've never really believed that. I've honored that idea for a long time. I see truth in it, but I really believe ultimately that's not true. And I feel that we already know, and that we need to, if we want to joyfully manifest, we want to make things as simple as possible. So the more you can just subtract out so many modalities, so many different ways of approaching things, the better off you're going to be, right? Simplicity is best. Coming from your essential self is what's going to bring you joy. It's going to manifest everything because you're not even doing it. Your infinite self is just letting it happen. Again, you could call it the universe, source, or whatever. It's not even, a self or whatever. I don't care. But it's that, it is that. What it is that. It is that. It is that. It's what we're connected to. That's why I call it the infinite self. That's why many other people have talked about the infinite self. The infinite self will bring you an incredible prosperity, opportunities of whatever sort and variety that you need or want in your business. Does that mean we fly by the seat of our pants, just waiting for our infinite self to tell us something or all this sort of thing? No, because your infinite self will lead you and guide you and even structure your business in specific ways, or not, or it may be more of a fly by the seat of the pants, but even that becomes sort of a structure that you rely upon. And that it, and how you know you can rely upon it is that you'll be joyful and you'll just be in your knowing, honestly, beyond all that. It's not even about the results. The results just come, but it's just a sense of joyful connection that you're in that is generating everything in your life. That is already is what's responsible for generating everything that you would love. And only when we are distorting our perception of things, we wouldn't love it. Only when we're distorting the energy by not being allowing ourselves to be aware and awareness of our infinite self, that infinite connection that already knows that we know that we know that we know, that is just the knowing itself, that we become in a place where we create things sideways. We create things from old patterns and old energies that are undigested, that are all pointing into our infinite self, but we go with those energies because we're not centered in our infinite self. And you can't increase your sense of presence, you can't increase your sense of connection to your infinite self by digesting those energies and experience more vitality and more joy overall, and be more stable and more grounded and more whatever, more, and less of all the stuff that you don't want to experience. Yes, of course. Ultimately, and there's a process. Sometimes we possibly, when we're digesting the energies, it may not always be fun. Life isn't always filled with joy at every moment, although it's always available. So the more we can be connected to our infinite self, the more likely it is that we'll experience every moment in joy. Do you need to? No. We've got sour note, we got low and high notes in a keyboard for a reason. We have sour and sweet moments for a reason, because we want to experience all of it as infinite selves, right? We want to experience the sense of separation. We want to experience that. But as we can do that while we continue to experience a sense of infinite connection, that's so sweet. Until maybe that's not appealing anymore, and you don't want to even experience any sense of separation, but it's not something to strive for. It's something that would come to you. Oh, I'm no longer interested in this, or it just happens because you've been saying basically, I'm not interested in experience all this drama anymore, all this karma and drama. So joyful manifestation of business, like so many other things that I've taught over the years, trust me, I was thinking about this before doing this podcast today. I'm like, well, should I talk about 7 steps or what, all those things? I've done gazillions of things like that, webinars, whatever, interviews, etc., emails, gazillions. I feel, that just comes like gazillions of those things before, so much of that before. And I still do some of that now. And we all know the truth is there aren't just 3 steps or 4 steps or whatever it is to anything. Yeah, kind of, it's true, right? But it's just what you've made up, like, oh, okay, basically it's like 3 steps. Right? Oh, wait a minute, maybe it's 2 steps. Maybe it's 5 steps. Some systems even change over time and they change the steps. I remember, for example, like something like a structure of affirmative prayer that I learned in Science of Mind. They said, oh, it's some people said do a 7-step prayer, and then no, we could do a 5-step. We don't really need the 7 steps. You know, so what's the truth? The truth is you're making it up. Some people say it's 1 step. You just say here it is, and it's done. So it can be whatever you decide. I know this all sounds kind of namby-pamby. I don't know if that's the word or the words, but my point is I'm pointing to something that's beyond programs and steps, but it's a state of connection and awareness, and it's what I've always pointed towards. I'm pointing towards it for you today. And when you allow yourself to be in that contact, everything becomes available. I mean, enlightenment becomes available. Manifestation of everything you ever want becomes available. That'll be most true and most soul satisfying, most expanded. Everything becomes available. I guess there's just the opportunity for you to say yes to it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't fully get it. What I'm planning on in the future is I'm going to be making opportunities available for you to really learn about what I'm talking about, not by just taking all these little steps, but by maybe having a support structure for you to be able to come into it and to live it. Because when I look at all the things I've offered, all the things I've taught, basically this is what I've done for people that, again, probably I would say have experienced, of course, the most profound results working with me, the most profound results. Yes, the gritty stuff can be very important. Bottom line, brass tack stuff can be very important, right? All these things doesn't disinclude these other things, right? Tactics can be important, strategies can be important, all these other things can be important. But the most essential connection and the most essential way of being is what's going to joyfully manifest what you want in your business. And that's what you want to get connected to. But what I can tell you today, to give you some steps, so to speak, to give you some orientation, is mostly to give you reminders, things you already know. I don't, in this case today, I don't know that I have something that you've never heard before. Okay. But as far as how to get more in connection with that. But I think the first, if we're putting in the steps, is first just remember that it exists, because you've all are in contact with it, and it's always there. It never leaves. It's not like for one person they've got that connection, another person they don't have it. We all have it. It's there for all of us, and always, all the time. Oh, but not all of us are able to access it all the time. Well, yeah, but you could. At any moment you choose, you could have access to it. So what I'm saying is be aware of your opportunity to have access to it. And it does tend to have more ready access for most all of us from a higher vibe state. So you want to spend your life focusing on what? The things that bring you inspiration and passion, things that you would love to do night and day, right? So what are those things? Write them down. Prioritize the ones that speak to you the most. That will definitely help you get into that state of connection, and will help to manifest what you want. If you do things because for approval or for money or for security or for survival and all this stuff, you're not joyfully manifesting. You're sort of a slave, really. I mean, we all do it in different, we go back to our patterns, at least many of us, most of us, all of us, perhaps. So So, but it's releasing a lot of that, perhaps all of it, ultimately. And then realizing that Spiritual Rockstar podcast is that our opportunity to rock it out at the highest level is to be in that state of connection ultimately, and to be observant. To be observant. How do I know I'm connected with my infinite self? It may show up differently for each of us. So for me to say it's one way may not be accurate, probably isn't. But for me, it might be a sense of being connected with my higher self, right? Just a sense of awareness up above my head that feels connected in my body and is always available. That may be a way for me to orient myself to it, but I could just as easily say, well, perhaps it lies in the depth of my heart or whatever. So what is your orientation to it? For me, it's more that sense of connection into my higher self, wherever you want to imagine that exists in the etheric field. For me, it's, up there somewhere. Some people say it's like what, 18 feet up, 12 feet up, or, whatever it is. Different teachers, different concepts. So for me, it's just a sense of that connection to that higher self up there, and then feeling that in my body, feeling that in my energy. And yet I could say it transcends that, so, but that's an orienting, pointing factor. And you're paying attention to that, it'll give you all your answers. Everything's right on cue. But you just need to be paying attention. Can meditation help? Yes, if you're paying attention to your infinite self while you're meditating, and some people call it your observing self. The observing self is connected and can connect into the infinite self, to that. So that can be a way to connect with it. Absolutely. Meditation, prayer work every day is absolutely recommended. So whatever helps you to cultivate that sense of connection. How do you access that connection? What works for you? Most of you already have a sense of that connection. Maybe, again, maybe not all of you, certainly, but most of you probably already have a sense of that access. Because pretty much anybody I would ask on a one-to-one basis said, you're already connected with that. You already have the infinite knowing. Now, don't you? If I said it in the right way and right there in a present moment, I'm connecting them to their infinite self in that moment together with me. And they're like, oh yeah, I just found it again. Or yes, my awareness is that yes, it is there, right? Like in that moment, they're like, oh yeah, that's right. What is the infinite self? I mean, most of you already know about these things, but it is, again, connected to literally the infinite. And it's what you're connected to all the time, that knows everything, has the answers for everything, is providing for everything, manifesting everything. Therefore, it needs nothing. It needs nothing from you. It needs nothing from you other than, if anything, really a sense of some attention to it. So a sense of being connected to it and listening to it. That's all. It doesn't really need anything, though. And it's often working on your behalf, even when you're not really fully aware of it. So the idea is, again, like many teachings talk about, is to get out of the way and let it operate in your life, and to enjoy it. Watching your life and the sense of your world change as a result of it automatically, not out of effort, not out of ego, but out of just letting it happen. Is there a practical way this works into your business when you're facing certain situations? Absolutely. Yeah, yet it's a way of living in every moment. But if I were to give you an example, like, okay, you get contracted, somebody tells you something that upset you. Well, the reason why you're upset is you're not connected with your infinite self. You're upset only because you're not connected with your infinite self. If you were connected with your infinite self, it wouldn't be affecting you. I remember running an event once where I was connected the entire event. I mean, who knows? Maybe I wasn't, but like basically I was connected to my infinite self fully the entire event. So much so that anybody that would be and I was leading training, a retreat or whatever. And there was a number of people at this one, and there's issues going on, but I didn't look at anything as being an issue. There's issues going on for participants with each other more so. But I never, I was so connected to joy and connection. I didn't see it at any issues. I didn't see any problems. I didn't concern myself with anything. I just showed up and did what I was called to do. Only afterwards did I disconnect myself after the event when someone told me there was issues going on beyond even a little bit deeper than what I had been aware of at the time consciously. And I thought, well, if I was not so in my infinite connected self, maybe I would have been aware of these things. I could have fixed it or helped it, and that's just a bunch of stuff. That's me giving my connection away and devolving myself to try to help a situation. It doesn't make any sense. Like I'm supposed to be aware of everything and make everything right for everybody all the time that are at my events or something, like some kind of weird, crazy idea or something like this. So that's insane. So the truth is that is how we want to be operating basically. We want to be in that level of connection. And there's always more. There's always more. There's always more in terms of the vibrancy you can experience within that. I guess is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't get any better than this, right? So as far as that goes, but yet there's a sense of it getting better from the level of depth of embodied connection that you have with it. So on a practical level, when you're operating at this level, there are no problems and you only are living truth, basically. And therefore it's joyful. It's joyful. If storms come within that connection, then they come. But they're usually very short and brief if they come at all. So this is what I want to share with you today. Be aware of your infinite self. Be aware of what your soul is being called to, that you're so passionate about, you want to be about night and day and be up to night and day. How you're wanting to be is how you're meant to share your work in the world. It is how you're meant to deliver your work in the world. If you're wanting to put all the pieces together and you want support in that, then I definitely recommend that you reach out to me and let's talk. Let me do an energy scan consultation for you so that I can point you into your infinite self, why see the fullness of your soul and who you are on that level, and get everything, dropped in, integrated, and get a focus to who you're meant to serve, how you're meant to serve them, what are your offerings, what's your marketing strategies, therefore based on your state of being connected from your infinite self and who you are, your qualities as a soul, what you prefer, what your preferences are, how you operate, and having fun with it, manifesting, rocking your sacred purpose. So if you'd like me to explore this, getting that support from me starts with an energy scan. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and go ahead and fill out the application for an Rock Your Sacred Purpose energy scan consultation, and take advantage as well while you're there after you do that for the Meditate and Make Money meditation. Okay, so that's what I have to share today. I'm tempted to break down more and more steps for you, but the truth is there's one step. Get connected with that infinite self, and that alone is really all you really need ultimately as far as what we're talking about today. Okay, so yeah. All right, so if you have any questions though, feel free to also comment below. Smash the like button, subscribe. If you like bells rung on your phone and whatnot, it's not my thing, but if you like that and you like to be reminded that way, then definitely do that so you can be reminded whenever a new video comes up, or if you're on YouTube, or if you have a notification system on whatever platform you're listening on. Okay, well, we're going to leave it at that. Oh, one last thing. You can also go to Rock Your Sacred Purpose. Join my Monday Awaken the Millions Facebook Lives at 3 p.m. Central. And I do channeling and energy scans there that'll help connect you as well and give you specific answers and readings on exactly what it is you're needing to hear right now. Okay, so Rock Your Sacred Purpose on Facebook. All right, okay, lots of love, lots of blessings to all of you. You keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time, everyone. Goodbye for now.
For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.